Hey everybody, Coach Troy here. Now recently Atari has put out a lot of stuff. And, with holidays coming up and you're thinking about what you're going to buy other people, but more importantly buy yourself, I figured we could take a closer look at some of these multi-carts. We talked about the 7800 plus already ad nauseum. It's pretty much the 2600 plus with just a little bit of fine-tuning. But so now I want to check out some of these multi-carts, and today we're checking out the Realsports one. Now, real quick, I do want to apologize. I got a cat in my lap, and I just gave blood. But hopefully I can still stay focused and get through this video with you. So like I was saying, Atari was, Oh, hello. Are you going to let me do this or no? You're going to make it difficult, aren't you? So much for staying focused. And while I'm not focused, I just will say real quick, I'm looking at the Atari site right now. They've got actually a decent deal for, their Black Friday, which lasts a month or whatever. If you want to spoil yourself, why not? Also, they got this for sale, this decanter. And I know this is absolutely unnecessary, kind of stupid, but man, if anyone's wondering what to get me for Christmas, here you go. I could be the classiest, nerdiest, old school gamer with this sucker right here, okay? 125 bucks. Way too much. Absolutely way too much. But hey, anyone watching, give me that. But anyway, outside of that, let's get into what this cart has to offer, alright? Starting out first with Realsports Tennis. Alright? Right off the bat, I'll say this is a pretty good rendition of tennis. Yeah, it kind of plays a little bit like Pong. You just want to knock that tennis ball back and forth. But there's a little bit more to it than just a regular game of Pong. First off, you're moving around your court, but you have 3 different shots you can do. You don't have to hit the button. You can use one of the switches, so you actually have to hit the button to hit the ball. But otherwise, you just got to put your tennis player in front of it, and it's going to hit that tennis ball back. 3 different hits you can do. If you're moving away, it's a lob. If you're just moving side to side or standing still, it's a regular shot. But if you're moving forward, it's a power shot. So that's going to make it a little bit, just adding more to that game, not just bouncing that back and forth Pong style. So you can actually score in this game, so that makes it better than the Activision version already. Your other cool bells and whistles, you add your name in the beginning. Sound is pretty good. Characters are neat. They kind of look like they're showing off their midriffs. Whatever. And you can, you use that switch there to adjust the difficulty as well. Fast, slow, whatever. Anyway, this is a solid game here. I have fun with this, and I like this one a lot. Good version of tennis. Very solid. Next game up is Realsports Soccer. Championship match, end of the season, playing to win. Now, looking at it, it's really just 3-on-3 soccer. Graphics are not super amazing. Sound is, it's alright. But the gameplay is actually pretty interesting. You can already tell it's way better than Pele soccer, though, not exactly a high bar there. But what you do in this game, you really have to rely on passing. So you're doing triangle passes or give and goes, whatever. You got 5 or 9 minutes. Try and score as many goals as possible. Beat out your opponent. So there's some strategy with defending and trying to pass to get around your opponents. And it plays alright. It plays decent. So for options, you got 3 difficulty levels. You can play 5 or 9 minutes and 1 or 2 players. So not a whole lot there. Low level, kind of easy you can play. Not too hard to win a game, but advanced gets pretty dang tough. So a good range of difficulties there. Probably the best soccer game I've played for Atari, but that's like being the nicest guy in prison. Not exactly a high bar, but, an alright addition to this cartridge. Next up, we got Realsports Football, and that is definitely better than that first football game on Atari. Oh, and they got cats attacking each other. So this game definitely has better graphics. You're getting attacked by Opal, huh? Oh, I know. Life is so hard. Life is so hard. Alright, where was I? Realsports Football. You playing the quarterback of Team Atari? Atari offense? Something like that. I forget what it said it was in the book. But anyway, decent graphics, decent sound, nothing too special. Gameplay-wise, Well, you can use your joystick to set up your plays, what you're going to do, running plays, passing plays, whatnot, and kind of run around. It's almost like a side view of 10-yard fight, if that makes any sense. It gives you decent options so you can switch up how you play. It is fairly difficult to get any kind of run game going, I will say that. Didn't have too much luck with that. Every now and again you can break through. And you do end up punting a lot. Otherwise, defensively, you can set it up, get interceptions. I would almost bait the computer to throw the ball because I knew I could snag some interceptions that way, get that ball back. Most of the time, though, I was trying to kick for field goals. All you got to do for a field goal is to kick it past the goal line. There's no actual uprights that you got to kick through. It plays all right. It's not bad. It's not going to be the best game on there, but it's definitely a better football game than Atari had previously. So I think it's worth checking out and getting a few plays in. Might even be better two-player. Haven't played a two-player. Might be a little more fun that way. Next game, Realsports Boxing. Get those fists up. They actually did a pretty good job in doing a rendition of boxing here. You got your ring, you can move around. The graphics here are pretty good. Sound quality is pretty decent too. Everything sounds good, looks good. I like the way this game is presented. In this game, you actually have different boxers with different weaknesses, so that's kind of cool. So depending on who you're fighting, you can adjust your strategies or figure out how to knock them down. But that's pretty darn advanced for the Atari. And depending on how you're holding the joystick, and how you're hitting the button, you can do different kinds of punches, jabs, body blows, overhands. So the game, it's not just simple tapping a button and smacking your opponent. You have to actually figure out how you're going to set him up to hit him with the kind of punch that you want to hit him with. I'm going to say for a boxing game on the Atari, this kind of does a pretty good job. I mean, it's not the best boxing game ever made, but I thought what they did here is pretty darn solid, and it's definitely worth some plays. Two-player, or even just on your own, because you have different opponents that you can play against. So pretty solid right there. A solid game to have in this lineup. Next up, Realsports Baseball. Now this was, let's say baseball controls weren't fully figured out yet, but you definitely have different options here while you're playing. Depending on how you're holding the joystick when you swing, you can try to place the ball in different spots on the field. When you're pitching, depending on how you're holding the joystick, you're going to throw different pitches at them. When you're fielding, you got to get used to it. It's kind of what we're used to in most of these games at this point, but it's not super intuitive, not great. And when you're running the bases, got to make sure you look at that manual to figure out how to do it the correct way, how to make you guys run and stop and run back. Graphic-wise, this is one of the weaker games on the cart. I didn't think it looked very good. Sound-wise, it's one of the worst. The sound of the crowd when you're switching innings is not amazing. And like I said, overall control, not great. If you can actually figure out how to hit the ball, then you are a better man than I will ever be, because I struck out just about every single time. Every time I've tried to play this game. And I've tried to play it multiple times throughout my life. All in all, yeah, I think this is one of the weaker, this is definitely one of the weaker options that this cart has to offer. Next up, Realsports Volleyball. And I will right away say that this is probably my personal favorite game on the cart. So in this game, you're going to play a traditional game of volleyball. It looks like you're on game 3, though, because you only need 15 points, but you do have to win by 2. Again, all the traditional rules. You can only score if you are serving. So keep that in mind. If you're not used to the rules, you might be a little confused on that. Outside of that, looking at the graphics are pretty simple, but I think they do a good job. The players almost look a little stick figure-y, but it works. I don't know. I like the graphics. I think they are just perfect for what the game needs. Sound is good. Simple but good. And the gameplay is, I think, one of the best for the sports game series. Simple bump, set, spike. You're using, the button to hit that spike over, but you have those two players that kind of move in tandem. So as you're moving the joystick around, you can control both of them. It's simple, but it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It just plays perfect, and it's super fun. And I think this is one of my favorite sports games on the Atari. It might be my favorite sports game on the Atari. So, yeah, it might be a little biased there, but I'm going to say this one alone might make it worth buying that card if you do not have this game. Lastly, we've got Realsports Basketball, and where volleyball was the best, this one is, I don't know, it might beat baseball out as the worst game on the cart. To be fair, though, it was a prototype, so it was never officially released, but you can get it here anyway, so it's cool that they added it. I mean, why not, right? But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it plays super great. It doesn't look very good. The sound is not amazing. It doesn't play very good. You've got the two players in tandem. Again, kind of like volleyball. They will move together. And not unlike soccer, you're trying to pass around so you can get an open shot on that net. But it's super difficult to control exactly how you're passing and how you're shooting. It's not very intuitive. I don't know. Not a whole lot of options here, and it doesn't play super well. But, I don't know. Hey, I'm glad they added it anyway. You know, they didn't have to, but they did. So, if you want to check that one out, you got it. But this is one where I would say the other basketball game on Atari is much better than this one. Alright, so there you go. Well, a little more in-depth look at all the different real sports games that they're going to have on this cart. And these are just my opinion on these games. Hope you get a little more information out of it. You can play these, you know, I mean, the Game Station Pro, I think, has all of them on there. So if you got that, you already have them all. Well, although that controller sucks, but, you know, whatever. So a lot of these did come on different compilations and different, you know, plug-and-plays and whatnot. But if you want that cart, there's some good stuff on there. Again, volleyball is amazing. Tennis I really liked a lot. The boxing game is surprisingly good. They did way better than I thought they would with a boxing game. There you go. Check it out. Buy yourself a game. Why not? Let me know what you think. Do you guys agree with my assessments on the different games on this cart? Do you have a different favorite than me? Was I wrong about baseball? Is it actually worth... Can you hit that ball? I can't do it. I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't like it so much and makes everything else seem worse. Anyway, let me know what you think. It's Coach Troy. I'll see y'all next time. Shh, she's sleeping.